It is time for our coaches show, and Coach, this is our final one. It's been awesome catching up with you every week. What a season it has been. Um, I dare say that between having a just such a fun season where it's been such a fun team. I mean, Rich has never seen a team shoot like this, which makes it so fun to watch. So just to have a successful season and then have what happened, last week with Daniel, I believe this season is going to be immortalized for decades, and so it's been an honor to be a part of it. So thanks for letting me be part of it.
Well, we've loved having you, and yeah, I mean, you would never have written this script. I knew we were going to be good, but our theme this year has been the obstacle is the way, and I like that. I like Marcus Aurelius, the quote where it
Hmm.
came from, and it's a good message. And I kind of wish I hadn't gone with that because it's like we've had more than our share of obstacles, even with a successful record. But it's the way, and I think our kids kind of buy into that. That hey, there's going to be tough things, and it's about just meeting them square and coping with them the best you can, and taking steps forward. So, yeah, I didn't know how apt of a team theme that was going to be until last week, but I think we chose the right one.
Well, Coach, I speak for many people when I say it. These boys couldn't have had a better leader through this than you, and I appreciate your example. And I had the same conversation with Bishop Dustin Wasden that he's he's in a heavy position of helping people, and this isn't his first rodeo. As their ward had a very significant death 2 years ago, and he was still bishop, and he may wonder why he's in the position he's in, but there's no one that can do a better job, and it's the same for you, Coach. I'm sure
Well,
there's
I
times
appreciate
where
that.
you wonder. So,
But I will say that I think they've been a better strength to me than I have been to them. Through this whole deal, going to practice is the absolute best part of my day, and it's just being around these young men, and leadership is a shared burden, and I think these kids have emerged as leaders because they've helped a lot of adults, primarily myself, through
yeah,
this stuff.
agreed.
So I
Agreed.
it's a tough job, but in times like this, I'm actually glad I have it because I think my support network is a little bit bigger than other people's. Being around young men like this.
Well, and Lex, we've talked a lot over the past week, and I you and I talked about Uncle Jerry and the conversations that he's had, and the quote I want to share from him that you and I talked about is because Jerry's been through this, and he said I can't tell you the number of kids I've suffered through with this, but time was my only vehicle for healing, and it's a slow process. The only thing I could do was to focus on the kids who are still in my charge. Uh,
Yeah.
Hang in there and serve the kids and people who need you, and you're doing just that, Coach. And as the way this broadcast is going to be, I'm going to get memories of Daniel from all of your assistants. So our listeners are going to hear from you today, which is the first day of the tournament, and so it kind of gives it's good because it gives an overview of the state tournament. And Coach, what strategy do you go with? What methodology do you go with to? Obviously, a few weeks ago, we wanted to take state because of the accomplishment of the school pride, community pride. Rich has only taken state once before in basketball. This is a great time to do it again. We have a great team. The desire is still there, but maybe it's changed a little bit. There's a lot to play for. But me as just the adult on the outside looking in, I just want these boys to go down there and be together and be happy, and however the dice fall. How has that mindset been for you with the latest things that have happened? What is your mindset now going into state?
Well, it definitely changes your perspective. And I put a quote on every practice plan that we have, and I think sometimes kids look at it, sometimes they don't. But I found one I drew their attention to for Monday. It's by Tim Duncan, and he said, "It's not the trophies and awards, it's about the memories and relationships you build along the way." And I think that that's kind of our attitude is just we're grateful that we get to play with each other, that we got to play with him, that you build these relationships and you go through this experience of a season, and you just bond. You have great memories. And not all of them are good. Not all of them are wins, but they're still great. You look back at them and you learn things about yourself and other people. And I mean, I'd love to have a trophy to put in that case. But I don't think the years that Rich hasn't won a state title have been failed seasons at all because, just good young men build good memories and learn lessons. And I think, it's changed our perspective a little bit as far as a make or break, bring home a gold trophy, or it was a failure of a season. I think even 18 and 17-year-old kids now get that the best part of our season has been happening the entire time. And to cut down a net and lift a trophy at midcourt in that final game, I mean, that would be phenomenal. And it's something we're working toward. But the best part of the season, the things they'll remember, a lot of them have already happened. And
Yep.
and I think it's a good mindset. I think it actually frees us up to go play loose and play up to our potential, without this pressure of this has to happen. So it's amazing how in the middle of really bad things you can get these little silver linings that are priceless. I think that's been a gift to us, that kids are going, man, this is a lot more than about putting a round thing through a round thing. This is about just enjoying playing with each other and doing this together. And I actually think it really primes us to go do very well at state.
And Coach, I'm sure you agree, but when I've talked to the boys over the past few days, checking in on them, talking with them, it feels like these young men who we just love and have watched all season. Uh, I think they've gone from being boys to men over the past few days. Just the way that they've handled themselves and the maturity that I've seen from them. It's just such a satisfying and humbling thing to watch.
Yeah, and that's the privilege of being a coach. This is my 10th time doing this with a varsity team, and then I've been around basketball as a coach for 17 years, and I mean this one is more special than some others just because of the situation and losing a kid we cared about. But it never gets old. Just watching these kids mature and develop, and I'd say that about Daniel. From the sophomore freshman I met 4 years ago to the young man that was in my home and in my gym and in my classroom, you just see growth and maturity. And that's why it's so tough. I was so excited to go see the things he was going to do with this growth that he's had. But at the same time, he had just sports had helped him, and his teammates had helped him, and his school has helped him to become the best version of himself. And that's what it's all about. That's why we open these doors every morning.
That's a great tribute to Daniel, Coach, and we know that that this has not been easy for you as you lost a student, a player, and a friend, especially to your daughter. And you hit on it there. He spent a lot of time in your home, and just know that lots of prayers for you and your family through this. But once again, um, I'm very grateful that you took the job a few years back because you've it all happens for a reason, and these boys are lucky to have you leading them, and we wish you the best of luck at state. And it does change things. We've been talking for about 10 minutes, and we don't even need to talk about the opponents that we could see. I know that you guys are preparing for them and preparing for what happened, but in terms of what really matters, we talked about, and that's what you've instilled in these young men. And so whatever happens down there, obviously for a reason, for the boys' sake, we would love for them to achieve that highest goal that they've been wanting since they were just little guys. And we'll cheer you all on down at state.
Thank you, Bradley. I can't wait.